Welcome to culmination of the last 6 to 8 months of putting this together. This is 40 Days and 40 Nights Disciplined Reset. It is a program that I've put together um, that I'm very excited to share with you. I'm going to kind of go into what started it. It's my little intro video too. It's about like what started it, how it got started, where the idea came from, the name, the it's about every part of it really. It's pretty exciting. And then I'm gonna kind of go into what the setup is, like what you're doing when it comes to 40 days and 40 nights. So in a traditional habit forming scenario, you're building a habit over 21 days. Now, 21 days is great, and it does that. That's your traditional, you know, length of time to create a habit in your life. I was at a concert in Nashville last year. It was called Holy Smoke Fest. It was the largest Christian hip hop festival probably in the world, all independently owned and operated by Indie Tribe, No Big Deal, John Keith, Tori Deshawn, Mowgli the Iceberg, and DJ Mike LV. Now, at the show, there's a line in one of the songs where No Big Deal goes, 40 days and 40 nights had to get my discipline up. And I'm at the show and I'm just, I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying myself. Now, all in the back of my mind, as I hear that, it just replays and replays and replays. And I'm like, man, I was like, that's probably my biggest issue is my discipline. As far as I'm a very much a procrastinator. I'm very much a wait till the last minute. Like if I got to get up, if I got to be somewhere at 8 o'clock and I can get there in 30 minutes, I got to leave by 7:30. Not factoring in any kind of scenario in which I'm like, oh hey, like maybe there's traffic. Oh hey, maybe there's an accident. Maybe there's something that I gotta make a stop. I forgot about, like, I don't factor in anything else. So in all of those things, I'm like, let me go ahead and see, like, let me build something that will allow me to lock in and focus in on something, um, and do it over the course of 40 days and 40 nights. Take that 21-day window and just essentially double it. And with that, what I wanted to do was, I was like, if I can challenge myself for 40 days and 40 nights to do said task every single day, I can then create an actionable habit going forward. Now, in doing so, I set my goals, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I don't want to say simplistically, but I set actionable goals that I can execute daily. And that's the key to this whole program. Like, this is not a program that says, hey, like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym for 7 hours a day, every single day. Like, no, that's not what I want. Like, that's not what I want. That's not what the vision of this program is about. Like, this program is really envisioned to be something you can do. Small daily changes that take away small negative. So, like, again, I procrastinate a lot. So by doing that, is I sit down and I start a TV show. One episode is always 4 episodes. And then I'm going to bed because I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to go to sleep. So in this 40 days program, the idea is to create an actionable habit to replace some of those, negative, time consuming, procrastinating habits. So, like, replacing watching TV for me with reading a book. Now, I'm not saying don't watch TV, but what I'm saying is, instead of spending 4 hours watching TV, maybe spend half of that time reading a book. And learn and grow and be a part of something different. Try to put yourself in a better mind state. Um, and what I noticed too is that a lot of times I'm doing a lot of, you know, negative things overall. Like watching TV, it's just kind of like a drone habit where I just like, whatever. I'm just watching TV. I'm so bored. But getting into a book, I can learn something. I can try to like advance my state of knowledge, even if I'm just reading for fun. You know, I don't necessarily like reading a book. You don't read self improvement books if you don't want to. You know, read something that interests you. Me reading sports biographies, or you know, I like law stories and law criminal stories and stuff. So the idea for this program was essentially that I was going to find a way to create small actionable habits that I can execute daily in order to, um, just build me a habit. Build me a habit into a day that it's something that I can take outside of that 40 days and continue on with. Because this is not set to be like a strict 40 days and 40 nights, like, hey, we're gonna do it's not like Lent where we're doing this for 40 days and then we're like, all right, cool, we're done. No. The goal with this is to actually create and develop a habit through discipline to make this a habit going forward. To again replace those negative things. I say negative to replace those things that you're trying to, maybe distance yourself from. Maybe you spend too much time on social media. Maybe you're, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever. For me, it's a lot of television. Like sometimes I just come home and I just, like I said, I drone along. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna watch the show. And again, one episode turns into 5 episodes. It's 2 in the morning. I gotta be work at 6, or I gotta get up at 6. So it's very quickly how it consumes you. So this is a program designed to make better choices and create better habits for yourself. So in doing this, what I did for myself was I chose to go with reading a book, clearly, what I keep talking about, and I created a self care routine. Now, take a shower, deodorant, brush your teeth, yada yada, whatever, like that all happens. What I don't tend to do though, on top of the main things, is trim my beard necessarily. More consistently. Doesn't necessarily, again, these are not things that I always have to be a consistent daily habit, but something that I think about more often. So, for example, like when I go, like, hey, I'm gonna go, out with my friends or whatever like that, like I'll trim my beard. I tend to think about it more often. Usually I would just go, whatever, throw clothes on and leave out the door. But by deciding that I wanted to maintain more of a self care routine, I made sure that I was taking a second to look at myself in the mirror, check my beard, see if it needed to be cut, which it does right now, actually, ironically. And, just put that extra thought into doing something like that. Like, hey, I need to, before I get in the shower, trim my beard, get myself all set up. Like, I'd trim it all away, cut it down, some back on my mustache, cut it back here, trim the whole scenario. But it also take that second, because I don't like looking in mirrors, is to actually do that. It's kind of funny. I don't like looking in mirrors, but yet I sit here and watch myself be recorded as I record these podcasts and stuff. But taking that extra time to like put a little effort into what you're doing, what I'm wearing, what I'm thinking about. If I'm going out with people, if I'm going out with friends, or I'm going out to make an impression of some sort, I would take an extra few minutes to, put thought and energy and effort into that. And if I didn't do it, like I would think about it, I'd be like, okay, now not in an obsessive way where I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I didn't do that. Like, oh, I just screwed up. Like, forget it, I'll just do it tomorrow. I would then take that time necessarily to, if I didn't, let's say I didn't do the self care routine first thing in the morning when I woke up, because maybe it's a weekend and I get up and I just kind of like, I'm just kind of like, BS around or whatever. But by midday, I take my shower and I get ready for the day. I still do it at that point. I don't stop myself from executing my goal action. And that's important. That's where the importance to this program comes in, is I'm not It's not supposed to be a stressor to be like, oh well, I have to do this. No, you still get to do it. You don't have to do any of it, but you get to, and you get to do those things daily, and you get to do them, these small actionable goals, to create a better mindset, headspace, better habits, get you, whether it's getting out of a funk or something. Like I said, it's as simple as this: we're presenting a better self on a daily basis, or in my case, every probably day or two. It wasn't really every day for me, but excuse me, but it was something that I consistently was doing. Where I take time to just double check myself, if you will. So I did a self care routine, but I also maintained reading a chapter of a book a day at least. If I want to read more, I read more. If I didn't, I didn't. Just as long as I got into the book and read a little bit. Even sometimes I would read just 10 or 15 minutes. I didn't always read a full chapter, but I was in there reading. Now, mind you, during that time, I read 2.5 full books. I'm a very slow reader, so let's not pretend like I'm not. But I'm a very slow reader. I know that, I understand that, and even in the books I'm reading, they're very dense. So the reading is not fast, and the reading is small words, large book, large pages. Takes a long time for me. So, but doing that every single day, and again, I don't have to, but I get to. And changing that segment in my brain of, oh, well, I have to do this because I said I did it. No, you don't have to do anything. You're not required to do this. But if you want to be better, and you want your mindset to be better, and you want to be less zoned out all the time, and find a reason to go forward and be a better person, then you get to do these things. So for me, that was a thing, and for me, I chose a lot of books to try to help shape my mindset and get me a better, clearer headspace. Now, they've been great, honestly. So it worked really well. Now I'm halfway through a book, and I've slowed down a little bit on that. So when I get into round 2 here, I want to pick back up where I left off with round 1, because I did this. So I did this whole program once myself. I went through the 40 days and 40 nights, and I read, and I did my self-care routine, and I want to continue that. I don't want to stop doing what I was doing and then just pick up new goals and go forward. My idea for me now, as you get into this program, you may decide maybe you want to do 4 goals, maybe you want to do 1 goal. You're not required to do multiple goals. You can do 1. Pick 1, start slow, and just know yourself and be yourself. I wanted to do 2. Now, in this next go around that I'm starting, I'm going to do 2 more. I want to, do at least a slight workout every day, 15 to 30 minutes. And I want to do at least one Spanish lesson a day to learn a language through Duolingo. Now, in doing that, I also want to read my book, execute my self-care routine. Now, again, the point for me is replacing my 2-hour TV time with an hour of these things. If I'm working out for 30 minutes and Duolingo for 10 minutes, and then I'm reading a book for 20, there's an extra hour right there that I've executed all of my goal actions. And I still get an hour of TV time if that's what I decide to do with it. Or I can continue reading or continue doing lessons or whatever I feel like doing. But I'm looking to replace those boring, drab, non-growth activities with growth activities. So that's what this program is designed for me to do. So for me, what I want you to be able to do is to go into this with the mindset that is to come out better, to think better, act better, be better. That's the whole goal of this thing. So the way that this program is set up, so this is how I've got it set up for myself. When you wake up, and this is very, very key. And I think I'm gonna do an episode, or not an episode, a little video on, or I did a video on what a Ramos means to me, what a Ramos is, why it's so important that you do. But what I do in this program is you get up, completely read your distractions, shut your alarm off on your phone, put your phone to the side, keep your TV off. Don't even turn your lights on if you don't want to. Now, I'm not a morning person by any means, so I really can't be comfortable when I do this. And I spent the time doing the program to figure this stuff out for myself, because that's how I designed it, and that's what I decided I wanted to do, was be able to go through it, see what worked and what didn't work for me as I approach this, so that I can then say, hey, this is what worked for me, this is what didn't work for me. How you approach it is how you approach it. So I would wake up at first thing, get in my Ramos, I would put my phones to the side, shut my alarms off, and I had this comfy spot that my daughter put together, and just full of pillows and her stuffies and stuff, and a big old blanket. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go sit there, and this is where I'm going to get into my Ramos. Excuse me. My Ramos time is so important because it is literally the start to your day. Now, Ramos is most loosely translated to wilderness, or the place where Jesus would spend time for 40 days and 40 nights, getting closer to God, praying without ceasing, and just any time basically that he wanted to set a lesson for his disciples or himself, he would go to his Ramos. So the Ramos is a place completely void of distractions and allow you to just connect with your day, with yourself, with God, with whoever or whatever you want to connect with at that moment. So for me, I get in my Ramos and I pray to start my day. I pray for friends, I pray for family, pray for my daughter, sisters and brothers, just anyone that's on my mind, anybody that may need a prayer request, or just anyone that I feel compelled to pray for. But one of the biggest things I do in that time as well is pray for myself. I prepare my head and my mind and my heart for what I'm supposed to receive that day. And that is, for me, again, I was reading, so, what I'm going to read, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, who I'm talking to, what my own thoughts are, just making sure that everything that I'm doing is directed towards making sure that I am as upbeat and positive as I can be in that moment. And that myself, that I am completely prepared to go forward and execute my goal actions for that day. And then, now, when I got in that comfy spot, I discovered, as not a morning person, this guy right here, not a morning person. I'd knock out. I'd be laying there and I'd be like, and I'd like get back into it. So, as a night owl, most of these I record at night. So, shocker. I decided I was going to try, going through the day, execute my goal actions during the day, get in my Ramos in the evening, pray for the next day. See if that would work. 40 days, 40 nights. Could go either way. However, I discovered as well that I was so tired most of those nights that I would still knock out. I'd be praying and I'd be, here we go, right back at it again. So, what I discovered from that process is that my Ramos was just too comfortable. And unfortunately, and I guess fortunately, as I think about it now, in the wilderness, it's probably not too comfortable. So there's a good shot that if I make myself a little more uncomfortable, that I would be a lot more successful in my execution of going to my Ramos and preparing myself and my mind and my heart and praying for the people that I wanted to pray for. Myself, my daughter, my family, my friends, and anyone that came to my mind. So I sat in this wonderful chair right here, which is comfy in its own right. However, it is not comfortable enough for me to be like to doze off in. Because if it wasn't for this wall right here, this thing would probably be flat on the ground. So what I'm getting at is you have to find the place that's most pertinent for yourself. I'm not a morning person. I have a very tough time waking up in the morning and starting my day. That also would slow me down because I would find myself trailing off and then getting back together with it. and then trying to go into it. So for me personally, mornings weren't the best times. Evenings were probably the best times. I did have more success with that in the last the last few days of my thing. I did it from this chair in here, just in the dark by myself, just saying prayers for any and everyone that I needed to at that moment. So get in your Ramos. Get in your Ramos every single day. Get into it. Be by yourself. Isolate yourself from distractions, people, places, things, whatever you need to do. Don't act like you don't sit in your car when you get home from work sometimes and just scream, yell, sing, whatever you got to do. Sometimes just get a little bit of peace. This is your peace time. I promise you. It is fantastic. It is very much a great thing. And it will really just refresh your brain. So the whole point of this is to refresh yourself. This is not to make things more stressful. This is literally to release all of the bullshit and just allow yourself to just, again, create actionable, good habits to replace some of these negative, toxic bullshit habits. So, get in your Ramos. Whether you do it before or after or midday, however you want to do it, whatever you find is best for you. For me, night in a non-comfortable spot. That's what works for me. May not work for everybody, but that's what I recommend. Nighttime, night owl, non-comfortable spot. So after you pray for those things, take that time to execute your goal actions. Just really take that time to execute those goal actions. For me, it was, no matter what I did, I would go to the casino and I would hang out and I'd see some friends and I would hang out there. I'd, bet on some sports or watch some games or whatever. But I'd still come home and find time to read my book. And, waking up and doing the self-care routine easy because I have to get up for work anyway. I get to get up for work. I get to get up for work anyway. So, though that habit was a little easier to maintain and keep up with. A lot of times I would do the self-care part of it after work when I'd come home, and then I'd get ready maybe to go play pool or go see some friends or whatever. I'd want to be a little more prepped. So, but either way, I get to do those things. And then, I was like, oh, well, I read chapter this book. Well, I was reading the 48 Laws of Power, which I'm about halfway through. And quite honestly, it's a great book, so I really enjoyed it. So it wasn't like, oh, I got to go read. Oh, no, I was like, I get to read. Like, what's the next chapter about? What am I going to read about today? Like, I was excited about it. It kept me propelled forward. And it's hard to beat that energy because I was so excited about it all the time that, it didn't matter. The excitement was there. And I thought I had some stuff in here somewhere. No, I know what it is. But the excitement was there in every case. So for me, it was very easy to get used to because this is what I was doing every day. This is how I did things. It was great. I can't beat it because I was able to continuously just enjoy the process of what I was doing. Now, in doing this, find your Ramos, pray and prepare yourself. However you do it, whether you pray or you just talk to yourself, you encourage yourself to do those things. That's what you want, and that's what you need to do. You have to self-motivate a little bit. Now, this is not a thing in which you're by yourself. Like, you can at any time reach out to me. I'm very excited to share this because, for me, this is not just just some bullshit that I woke up one day and was like, oh, I'm going to build a program and we're just going to do these things. Like I said, it's been months that I've been working on this. Now, not consistently, of course, but, I teased it even back in September on my podcast. And, here it is, March, that I'm finally putting this out here. But, I'm going to put some videos together that kind of talk about some of the things that, that go with the program and kind of just little encouragement things, and I probably would just pop in randomly and just, say how I feel about where I'm at with what I'm at. And honestly, I want people to do the same thing. I would love for you to share your experience in the program itself. What are your goals and actions? Tell me. Make a video about it. Make a video about it in response to it. Or don't, or just comment down below and whatever. But I want to know what you're doing as well. So as I told you, I did self-care routine, reading a book. Next step, exercise 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes. And, Duolingo Spanish. Do a lesson or two. Why not? Let's do a lesson. Let's do these things. Now, you are not alone, and I cannot sing. It's fine. So I'm not going to do it for you. I'm just going to give you my template. Why not make a playlist of how many? Take a guess. 41 songs. You are correct. It would be 41 songs for 40 days and 40 nights because that is how math works. It's not. But I had 40 songs on a list. I made a playlist on Spotify and I made a playlist on YouTube Music of 40 songs that I think, some of which sum up the program in itself. Some of them was where the song came from, like Renaissance by No Big Deal. 40 days, 40 nights, had to get my discipline up. Some of them talk about hard days. Some of them are just punch you in the face music because it's so tough that I love it. Some of them just have words in them that literally just hit home on exactly what the program. Pretty sure the first song on the list, song's called Uninvited by John Keith. I can't remember what the first line is in my head, but if I can find it super quick before I get off this, I'll tell you. But it is literally just fit this program straight out the gates. So 41 songs. There was 40 songs. I had it set, and I was so excited about it. I was like, yes, yes. And then there was one song that I was doing my last podcast on that I just could not exclude, because on that podcast, I could not remember the name of this quote that I had heard. It wasn't a quote, it was a song. I was wrong. And that song is called Every Mountain by Benja, and it is on here. It is song 41. Why is it song 41? Because I could not exclude it, but there was nothing on here I felt like needed to be taken off of this list. I'm that sold on what I've got here. So I had to have it. 41 songs in the playlist, completely open, public forum, YouTube Music and Spotify, both available to go with this. So please, I encourage you, join me in this endeavor. I'm very excited about it. For me, again, round 2, because I'm about to do this again for 40 more days. This playlist is really to keep your head in the game, keep yourself, going forward. If you have a song in there that you like or you don't like, please tell me, because honestly, I would love to change this around as much as I can, to keep things fresh, and hopefully introduce you to some new artists, because why not? And I'm very, very excited to see what anybody thinks about this. Please let me know in the comments, in messages, however you want to tell me. Join me in this venture. I really look forward to having hearing stories about it. What you've done, where you're going, what you want to go do. Oh, before I even get off of this, so I was talking to a friend of mine. I was telling them about the program, and I was like, okay, well, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is probably a couple weeks ago, before I really got into came up with a release date. And they're like, well, don't you, when do you stop? And I was like, well, that's a good question. And it caught me off guard at first, and I really didn't know what to say. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, well, does it just keep going forever and ever? And I was like, well, or do you just you don't have any more goals you want to execute. Well, the goal of this is really not to create, you know, big goals. It's not like, oh, hey, like in the next 40 days, I'm going to build $1 billion business. Now that would be fan freaking tastic. And if you could pull that off, please, by all means, let me know how that works. But the goal is always is to make these things small enough that they can continue to grow. Remember, you're replacing negative, you know, things, and I say negative things, but I mean things that bring you down and drag you down and hold you down, like procrastinatory things like watching TV over and over and over again and watching the same stuff and just wasting time. This is designed to replace those things with more growth oriented activities. So what I told them, and I was like, well, listen, I said, well, I'm doing reading a book and my self-care routine, and the next time I'm going to do 15 to 30 minutes of working out and a Spanish lesson. Now what if in the next level I decide to do 3 Spanish lessons instead of just 1, and an hour a day at the gym, and 2 chapters in my book? Now I can change all those things and I can add to them as I go, and I'm not saying, hey, I'm going to keep doing this until I'll read a book in a day. Like, listen, I don't have enough time for that. I should read way too slow to ever read a book in a day, unless it's like a children's book, and then I probably still will need a couple hours. I'm kidding. It's just a joke. But the goal of this is really just to build actionable habits to better yourself daily. So it really can be infinite, kind of. I mean, there's a limit to everything. But I mean, as long as you're time. But if I'm watching TV for 4 hours and I replace those 4 hours of TV time with, studying for an exam and reading a book and learning Spanish and, working out and, maintaining of my physical appearance, or, cleaning my house can be one of them. Every day I want to clean. Maybe every day I decide I'm going to do one of the main exploits. I'm going to do the laundry or fold the laundry. 2 different things. Or run the dishwasher, put up the dishes. I could do them separately. You could break it up to actionable things to continuously keep things going. I live in a house by myself. So washing dishes and putting away dishes can be very minute tasks on separate days. So it can really be a step a day. For me, cleaning up my daughter's toys, which are currently all over everywhere. Because I love her to death. They are literally everywhere. But that's fine. Anyway, but things like that, like finding a way to incorporate positive activities or growth activities into your everyday life and routine. And again, you don't have to do anything, but you damn sure get to. So, thank you for taking this journey with me. I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you, from your friends. Pass it on to everybody. Literally, this video is the start of it all. 40 days and 40 nights of discipline to reset. The Spotify playlist is already up. The YouTube music playlist is also up. Both of them are ready to go. The Uplifted Network on Facebook is where all of my content goes. The YouTube channel is the YouTube channel. But TikTok, Instagram, all of it, most of them are my personal pages, but it's designed for the podcast that I do. But the Uplifted Network is where all this content is going to be stored. It's the Uplifted Network on Facebook. If you know me, go through my personal page. You can get to it. It's all there. But I'm really looking forward to hearing from you what you decide to do. I really, 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 really want you to tell me your goals and actions. I'm so excited to hear what you guys have planned. I know that going into round 2, adding Spanish to my vocabulary and getting a little bit of a workout in, because I'm not going to lie to you, getting a little fat. So just trying to be in better shape. Again, small actionable habits to create better discipline. And I've already said this like 100 times, and habits. But better discipline for better habits. Let's replace those non-thought provoking, drab, boring, blah, 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 garbage with good things that can make you better. And if you need encouragement, listen to the playlist. I promise you, This playlist does not encourage you in any way, shape, or form. But listen, I want you to understand that I didn't put this playlist together because it's got banging beats and it's all the music's the bomb. No, the every song in this has a message in its lyrics. That is why this is put together. This has nothing to do with, I didn't just go through and be like, oh, this is my favorite songs. No, these songs all have a purpose and a message for you based on this program to make you a better person and to change this right here to a better thing. Let's do this together. Join me. 40 Days and 40 Nights of Discipline Reset. I'll have the Spotify and the YouTube music links up available for you. I'm gonna go ahead and put this information into a little blurb, if you will, to also have available so you can kind of see how I do my things. Again, you're a Ramos. Prepare yourself. Pray for the day. Pray for your people. Pray for your people. Prepare your heart and mind. Get those things ready to understand and receive whatever it is that you're trying to get from that day. And execute. Listen, I'm sorry because I want to be better with this, but I'm saying execute this mother fluffer. Let's do this thing. On that note, I'll see you next time. 40 Days and 40 Nights. We're here.